Hi, I'm Dan Hicks, and welcome to this week's Pause Devotional. Exodus chapter 3 is a favorite of mine for a very personal and encouraging reason. It was this chapter the Lord used to clarify a direction in my life a number of years ago, which resulted in my wife and I moving across the country and planting a completely new congregation. The outcome of that journey remains a constant source of joy and encouragement for me. There continues in that city a thriving congregation which has significant impact in the city and beyond. So when we came this week to our pause reading, I was excited to write about some of the verses from Exodus 3. The story is a familiar one for anyone who has done much reading in the Bible. And it might be that you've not done that much reading, so let me quickly summarize the story. Moses had to flee for his life from Egypt, where he had been raised in the house of Pharaoh. He got into trouble, and now the Pharaoh is seeking to kill him, so he runs away to another land. While he's there, he's taken in by a man from that land, Midian, and then marries the daughter of this man and goes to work for him as a shepherd. Fast forward 40 years, and we find ourselves in chapter 3 of Exodus. I'll read to you from Exodus 3, the first two verses. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the back of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. So he looked, and behold, the bush was not being consumed. Moses' situation at this time was one of great humility, obscurity, and probably a sense of having arrived at a dead-end street for his life. Have you ever felt that way? I have. Maybe you felt that way and even feel that way now. Moses has pretty much been hidden in obscurity. Keeping sheep is a humbling job, and he was doing that for 40 years now. And if there ever was a dead-end street for someone who had dreams and aspirations, I can only imagine that this was it. But the good news is that God always knows what's going on, how you might be feeling, and where you're at, all the time. There are three things that have always been a source of encouragement for me from this passage, and have certainly proven to be true in my life experience. I want to share them with you, and hopefully you will gain a perspective that can strengthen you in the days ahead. First of all, God will speak when you are engaged in ordinary, could I say ho-hum activities. 40 years of doing something, especially something you may not have ever desired for your life, qualifies as ho-hum in my book for sure. Number two, God's voice is usually heard when we find that we're feeling somewhat useless. I can only imagine Moses had experienced these kinds of thoughts over 40 years of being a keeper of sheep, and the sheep were not even his own. Can you imagine? Well, thirdly, God often will communicate through unexpected ways and in unexpected times. The temptation is to really become, for me at this moment in time, a preacher, but I won't. I think it's clear that there's something going on here. Let me summarize it for you this way. God is not unaware of you, what you're about, nor has He forgotten His plan for you and for your life. As you head into this week and take these words to heart, I invite you to take the limits off of God. Keep being who you are. keep doing what you do. And in other words, keep being faithful and know this. As you are, God has not forgotten you, and He will faithfully bring you into His best plan for your life. God is good all the time, and you can count on that. Well, thank you for being with us today. And remember, you can get all of the Pause devotionals on our website. And don't forget, you can subscribe to all of our social media platforms. So God bless you. Have a great week.